playoffs are right around the corner, and as things are heating up, so is the race for maybe the most coveted award, the most outstanding player.
And it was kind of a one-horse race for a while. Like Chad Kelly, I think, had this point in the season where he was running away with it, but you can make a legit argument for three players in particular, and they are the quarterback for the three best teams in the league right now.
Yeah, I mean, it is tough, and Chad Kelly has been so great this year, but I think if I'm handing out the award today, it is an individual award, right? And the Argos have been the best team, but if you look at what Zach Collaros is doing, and maybe we're getting sick of Zach Collaros because he's continuously the best quarterback in the league, and maybe that's somehow punishing him in these races, but he has just been so good for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers this year, pushing the ball down the field continuously to his trio of star wide receivers. And the Bombers are no slouch either. I mean, they have such a great record. I know they haven't been as good as the Argos, but what Zach Collaros has done this year has just been truly special. Near the top of the league in passing yards. He's got all these great passing touchdowns, and he just continues to look really sharp out there.
I know it's so interesting because we've kind of thought of the Argos, and not thought of, they are a wagon and they've been rolling all season long, but Winnipeg has got one less win than the Argos do right now, and so I think part of my reasoning, I think a lot of people's reasoning that it was going to be Chad Kelly and there was kind of no race for it, was because of the Argos record and just how good they were, how dominant they were. They were undefeated for so long and only one loss for so long too. And now, because the team records are close, I know Chad's been great, but when you're looking at passing yards and passing touchdowns, not only Zach, but even Vernon Adams, if the Lions can find a way to win the West and they play the Bombers this weekend, which is going to be an amazing game. Like, that is for first in the West, essentially. If the Lions can win that game, VA may be in this conversation as well, because his stats are right up there with Collaros's and a little better than Kelly's as well as far as passing goes. And I know Chad does have the rushing touchdown numbers. He's second in the league in rushing touchdowns with 8. So he's kind of at that number of total touchdowns. But I don't know. There's something about that Argos team that maybe it really is just how good the sum of their parts is, as opposed to the individual that's kind of been the driving force. And not to say he hasn't been great or had an incredible season.
Yeah, I think Chad Kelly has exceeded every single expectation that the Argos had set for him, that Argos fans had set for him. I think when it comes to this particular award, though, it's not wrong to say that, hey, maybe the Argos are the best team in the CFL, or they have been so far. I mean, the playoffs are going to ultimately decide that. But I think they're the best team, and whether it's Collaros or Vernon Adams, they've sort of been the best player or the best quarterback. Vernon Adams, I mean, we talked about his athleticism and everything going into the season and how he can be this dynamic athlete at quarterback, but the strides he's taken as a passer have been phenomenal this year. I think he's got one of the best deep balls in the entire CFL. He is just launching that thing, and I mean, the Lions have been no slouch either. I think all three of these teams have really put together seasons to be a part of, and we can't wait to track them down the stretch as we head into the CFL playoffs.
Cannot wait. Yeah, VA has been great. That team has been unbelievable to watch, and it's nice to see him too, because I feel like I've just been a fan of his for so long in the CFL. This really does feel like the season that he's just been healthy. He's put it all together and established himself as one of the best quarterbacks in the league, arguably the best. So playoffs are going to be electric. If BC and Winnipeg can match up in the conference final, my goodness.
There's no doubt about that. But that's going to do it for today's show of Huddle Up. We will see you next time with some great guests, great interviews, and some great football content.